Quick question, do you want to collaborate with me on some artwork? Do you want to get featured on this channel? And do you want prizes? Interested? Keep watching. Recently, I've been racking my brains to be able to find a way to collaborate more with other artists. You Finish My Artwork is a great way for us all to collaborate together. I will start a piece of artwork and then stop halfway through. I'll then hand it over to you to finish it, and you can use whatever stock assets you like. You'll find a link to the PSD template in the description, and I'll also provide a high quality JPEG for those of you who don't use or have Photoshop. And I've teamed up with Huion to award the best entry an Inspiroy tablet. All you need to do to enter is submit your artwork via Instagram by the 17th of June and use the hashtag PhaseRunner community, and also follow PhaseRunner and Huion Canada, and I'll share the best entries and pick a winner in the coming weeks. Okay, enough talking, let's run it. Right, so I'll just quickly explain again. The plan here is to start creating a piece of artwork, and then I'll pause the creation process once we have a simple composition in place, and this is what will be available in the PSD for you to continue with and finish off. I'm then going to continue with the artwork, creating two separate pieces of art which will hopefully serve as some inspiration and give you some examples of the types of direction you could go with your own art when working with the provided template. This challenge is open to all skill levels, and I'll be judging it on things like creativity and execution. The aim is to provide you with specific elements to work with, and you should build upon what's there rather than replace it. But this will become more clear as you watch the two examples I'm about to provide. So let's crack on with setting up the template for you guys to finish off. We've already dropped in a nice stock image of a large rock which immediately stood out to me and I think offers a lot of potential for different ideas. So this should be a good choice for the focus of our artwork. I've then dropped in an image of some grass to make up the foreground, since it nicely matches the colour and feel of our background image. Naturally, it's always fun to have a character to work with, so I've found a pretty nondescript figure which we can use and dress up as we please. I'll just cut him out, and I don't want to give you guys a character without feet, that'd be pretty mean, so I'll add some of those in too. We'll just make a few adjustments and simple blends, and then I think we will stop it there. So we've got our basic template in place now, which is available for you to download, but stick around to see how I'm going to finish off this artwork. Maybe it'll give you some ideas of your own. Here we go. So with this first idea, I think we'll go with a fantasy vibe, and then maybe mix things up with the second idea and we'll go sci-fi. First things first, we'll get some clouds in there, nice and moody. We'll make a few light adjustments to the foreground, and let's hide the character for now so we can focus on the backdrop, which I've decided to turn into a tortoise carved out of stone. Yeah, I want to put a fantasy styled fortress on this rock, and I thought it would be cool if it was built upon some fearsome animal, but unfortunately the shape of a tortoise just works better, so let's go with it. Getting this to work involves a bunch of trial and error, playing with blending modes and clipping masks, and just applying different rock textures that complement the form of the tortoise. Some things work, some things don't, but that's what it's all about, just keep trying until something clicks. Just to be clear, the two examples I'm creating will be very rough, around 50 minutes on each, just to create some basic concepts for direction. I won't be polishing these much at all. Before we continue, let's hear from the sponsor of this video, Envato Elements. Not a week goes by where I don't dip into Envato Elements' extensive library of curated assets. There you'll find high quality stock photos, videos, motion graphics, music, and so much more. No matter what you're looking for, Envato Elements opens up a world of creative possibilities for your design projects. When creating your base plate, you need to pick a high quality base image that will act as a springboard for everything else. Envato Elements offers both landscape and portrait images that cover all topics. For this image, I'll need some rocks, but they'll need to be at a specific angle. Using Envato Elements' selection of 3D rocks will help me find exactly the right angle of rock, and downloading a transparent PNG will also save you time. With Envato Elements, you get unlimited downloads, download all the assets you want with one subscription. If Envato Elements is for you, they offer 50% off an annual subscription. So rather than paying $33 per month on a monthly plan, you'll be paying $16.50 per month on an annual plan. I'll drop a link in the description below. Still experimenting with different rock forms, but after a little bit more tinkering around, we end up with this, which is far from perfect, but good enough to show the intention of the idea. Next up, let's throw some castle walls and buildings on top of the rock. Forgive me if the lighting direction is a little inconsistent here and there, I would normally address these things. Fortunately, we've gone with quite a moody setting, so we can shroud the buildings in mist and shadow, and that looks pretty cool. Let's add a few mountains off in the distance, just paint in some atmospheric perspective. And then I think a nice river running through the middle ground would be a good little addition. Just mask away this rock and alter the lighting and colours a bit. Now let's bring our character back and we'll fix him an outfit. We'll go with this Roman armor, just warp that into place and add some shadows. We'll give him what looks more like a Scottish shield. It's definitely going to be a mixed bag. And a nice spear to finish off the outfit. Just making a few tweaks to the overall lighting and a few final touches. And here's what we end up with for our first idea. I mean, I said it was going to be rough, and it definitely is that, but I had a concept in mind and I think I've succeeded in reaching it. That tortoise doesn't exactly strike fear into you, does it? Oh well, on to the next idea. Okay, so mixing it up, we're going to go a bit more sci-fi with this one. We've got our template again, so let's see what we come up with this time. I'm going to move the rock around and change the scale a bit, which you're free to do with yours, as long as it remains somewhat the focus for the image. And same goes with the character, you can move him around, make him bigger or smaller, dress him up, but he should be included in the final image. So I'm just moving the image around, trying to decide where I want it to sit. Like last time, let's first add in some clouds. And we're going to go with a desert setting for this piece, so we'll start by replacing some of the ground with desert rocks and sand. Using selective color and choosing yellows, I can alter the yellowy green on our background rock image to better match the color of sand, like so. I've then got this nice canyon rock which I can add to the top of the existing one to create a more defined top. Also dropping one more in the background. The idea for this one, instead of building our city on top of a fearsome tortoise, we're going to place it inside the rock. Using the polygonal lasso tool to create hard edge selection along the middle of the rock and filling it with a dark color. Then using selective color to isolate the highlights from this nighttime city asset and clipping it to our selection. And add a bit of glow using a color fill adjustment layer with the layer blending mode set to screen. Then repeating the process for the rock off in the distance. This time for the character, let's make him a little bigger in the foreground, and he's in the desert, so let's give him some appropriate clothing. I think some kind of land speeder zipping along the desert floor off in the distance might be a cool addition, so let's see how that turns out. Using this smoky brush that will form all the sand and dust getting kicked up by this Land Cruiser. There's quite a lot of dead space at the top of the image, so let's fill that with a giant satellite dish. We'll just add some adjustment layers to help blend it with the scene. And lastly, let's throw a weapon on the back of this wandering fella. Let's go with an old school musket. Just gonna paint in a strap and then some undershadows. And here's what we've ended up with. Again, around 50 minutes on this one. I think with more time I would have thought of a more interesting object to place on top of the rock, but overall I think we've ended up with two pretty contrasting ideas. Let me know which one's your favourite in the comments below. I hope this has given you some inspiration and ideas for you to try yourself. Don't forget to download the PSD in the description, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. That does it for this week's video. If you've enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more Photoshop content. I'll see you in the next video.